Steelers fans, my bosses are telling me that if we can get 50 new subscribers here on the channel on this video, we can go live tomorrow and have a Steelers Talk live show. So if you want to get a Steelers Talk live show tomorrow afternoon, go ahead and click that subscribe button for me right now. It's all about the draft today here on Steelers Talk. First, we're going to be going over Todd McShay's brand new 2-round NFL mock draft. He's got some very interesting picks for the Steelers. And then we're going to wrap up the show today with Steeler Nation coming out with an article yesterday. And they detailed their 3 first-round draft targets for the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys that they think would be wise for the Steelers to target in round 1. But first, we're going to get into this Todd McShay mock draft. It is his 4.0 version and his first 2-round mock draft. So with that first pick in round 17, I think it's a pretty darn smart pick. He goes with Broderick Jones, the offensive tackle out of Georgia. Now, this is kind of the guy that I've had my eye on ever since the draft period started this year. I think that this guy is a perfect fit for what Matt Canada wants to do with this offense next year, with the kind of shifting to more of a power run scheme. I think that his lower half is probably the strongest in this year's NFL draft class. He is built like a sequoia tree. This guy's the best power run blocking offensive tackle in this year's draft class, in my opinion. And here's my scouting report for Mr. Jones here. He's got good size there at 6'4", 311 pounds. He's got the length that you look for. He's got the athleticism you look for. He's a former 5-star athlete coming out of college, and this guy is the best run blocker, at least in my opinion, in this year's NFL draft class among all the offensive tackles. The cons are, although he actually didn't give up any sacks in the SEC last year, I think that there's still some polish in his pass protection sets that he needs to get done. He can get on his toes at some times. His hand placement sometimes isn't all that great, but I think he can fit any scheme, and I think he's a day one starting left tackle in this league. And at the end of the day, I think that this could very well be the best case scenario for the Steelers. You don't even have to trade up to go get a guy like Broderick Jones, who is arguably the best fit at the offensive tackle position for you in this year's draft class. I think this would be probably the best case scenario, if I'm being honest, for the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's great that Todd McShay thinks that Jones could at least potentially fall to the Steelers at number 17. Here are my top 5 draft prospects at the offensive tackle position, and descending order there. DeJuan Jones, number 5. Anton Harrison. I don't think that the Steelers are really going to be looking at least too deeply into those guys, because I think they want a left tackle. DeJuan Jones is a right tackle. And then the thing with Anton Harrison is that he's more of a zone guy. Doesn't really show a whole lot of nastiness in run blocking. I think that's what the Steelers are trying to gear towards heading into 2023. So I think if the Steelers are going to take an offensive tackle, it's either going to be Broderick Jones, Peter Skoronski, or Paris Johnson Jr., my top 3 offensive tackles in this year's NFL draft class. So go in the comment section and tell me, who do you want the Steelers to draft in the first round of the 2023 NFL draft? Let me know in the comment section. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So here's the deal, guys. YouTube's going to throw an ad break your way. It's just the way it works. Take advantage of that time today by going down and answering today's pinned question. And then in round 2, Todd McShay has the Steelers taking Mazi Smith at the top of day 2, number 32 overall. And, this one was a little bit of a surprise to me. I think it might have been a little bit rich for Mazi Smith, because he's just a straight-up run stuffer. Now, he might be the best run stuffer at the nose tackle position in this year's NFL draft class, but I think there's some pretty good options later on down the road. Let's take a look at the Steelers' depth chart right now. You got Montravius Adams and Braden Fajoku that are probably vying for that number 1 spot, but I still expect the Steelers to add at least another nose tackle in. All right, if not in the draft, then in free agency, and then Adams and Fajoku would kind of vie for that number 2 spot at the nose tackle position. But you got Cam Hayward there, you got Larry Ogunjobi in there. Of course, you got T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith on the outside. If you can get a guy like Mazi Smith, that's a premier run stuffer in the middle, I think that'd be a great fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if this ended up being the pick, I wouldn't mind it whatsoever. But like I said, guys, I would have rather addressed this later in the draft. Jervin Dexter, senior out of Florida, is somebody that the Steelers have been showing a lot of interest in. And there's some pretty good options too. You could probably get later in the second round, if not the third round. Here is my list right now. Keanu Benton is my number 1 guy out of Wisconsin. He's got fantastic upper body strength, and I think he has some pass rushing upside from the nose tackle position, which you don't see too often. Siaki Ika is also an excellent player in the nose tackle position. I mentioned Jervin Dexter Sr., somebody that is being mocked to the Steelers a ton right now in the middle rounds. And then you got Keandre Coburn, a fourth-round projection, who's a very good run stuffer as well that you could consider. All right, we're going to get into Todd McShay's final pick here in just a second. But, man, the NFL draft is less than a month away. And, man, the new NFL draft hats were just released, and I think that they look fantastic this year, man. I really like this black and gold color. I think I'm going to get this one for myself and wear it during our live stream during the NFL draft. But, you know, this is the official color right here. It's like a stone color with gold and the logo in the middle. I think these are the best looking draft hats that we've had in quite a while, at least in my opinion. If you want to be wearing the same headgear as the 2023 Pittsburgh Steelers rookie draft class this year, go chatsports.com/Steelers draft hat. I'm telling you guys, these things are flying off the shelves. We only got a couple more in some of these colors, so if you want to get the one that you want, you got to get it now. Go to chatsports.com/Steelers draft hat. And then in a little bit of a surprise here, Todd McShay has the Steelers grabbing Cam Smith out of South Carolina with the 49th overall pick. And I think that this is a fantastic, fantastic value for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think that this could probably actually happen because Cam Smith has been falling down draft boards a bit in recent weeks. You take a look at what he did last year. He had 1 interception. He had 6 interceptions total in his college career. Last year, quarterbacks just did not throw in his direction. He had 27 tackles and 5 pass breakups. Only a 65.1 grade, PFF grade last year, which was the lowest, I believe, in his college career. It was certainly lower than the 2 previous years. 11 games played, but at the end of the day, guys, I don't care about that PFF grade because I see the film, I see the traits, and I think that he'd be a great fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is a defense that prides itself on creating turnovers, and Cam Smith has some of the best ball skills, some of the best instincts for turning the ball over and getting interceptions in this entire draft class. You take a look at the Steelers' cornerback depth chart right now. You got Patrick Peterson as that true cornerback 1 so far. It's looking like he might be playing more of a safety role, a little bit more of that nickel star role, playing more of safety in those inverted coverages that Mike Tomlin likes to implement with some of those versatile corners. You got Akella Witherspoon, James Pierre, Levi Wallace. One of those guys is going to be cornerback 2. And right now, Arthur Maulet is your starting slot corner. It'd be interesting to see what the Steelers do in trying to address that need this offseason as well. But I think Cam Smith fits into this perfectly. I'm not sure if he can go down into the slot. He might be able to, but he's played exclusively outside in college. Would really like to see him in black and gold because I think he can create a lot of turnovers for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So go ahead right now in the comment section. Tell me, what is your grade of Todd McShay's mock draft 4.0 for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Give me an A, B, C, D, or F in the comment section. For me, guys, I think this is an excellent mock draft. Mazi Smith, I might have gone nose tackle later in the draft, but I think overall it's very solid. I'm going to give it an A- because you're getting that future left tackle that's a perfect fit for your offense. You're getting a great value at cornerback in the second round in Cam Smith that fits your defense beautifully. And then Mazi Smith, somebody that can really be that run stuffer in the middle. I think it's a really, really good haul. I'm going to give it an A-. Now, next up on the show here, Steeler Nation came out with a list of 3 wise, quote-unquote, first-round draft targets for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And there's definitely some interesting names and a very interesting exclusion that I will get to in just a second. But first name on their list, the first guy they put on there is a linebacker, Drew Sanders, who's probably going to be a second-round pick. He's new to the position. He's still very raw. He's 6'5", 232, can run really fast. You know, he's got all the measurables that you look for. But I think that the 17th overall pick for Drew Sanders, remember, this is a list of first-round draft targets. It's way too rich for a guy like Drew Sanders. If you want to get him at pick number 49 in the second round, then fine. You want to get him in the third round and he falls, fine. But you look at the top inside linebacker prospects in this year's draft class, and I still have to come out with my official rankings. These are probably the guys that will be in the top 5 eventually. I really like Jack Campbell out of Iowa. I really like Dorian Williams out of Tulane. I have Drew Sanders. He's probably going to be either 3 or 4 on my list when it's all said and done. There's some guys that I like more than Drew Sanders because although Drew Sanders has a really, really good physical profile, he's still new to the position. He's going to have to take a while before he really becomes what he's capable capable of becoming at the National Football League level. And right now, I think that the Steelers really need somebody that can step in and play right away. And for me, guys, Drew Sanders is a second-round prospect. I don't know what to tell you. I just don't think that even a late first-rounder, I don't even think that he'd be worth the 32nd overall pick, if I'm being frank with you. I'd rather go get a guy like Jack Campbell or Dorian Williams. I just think that Drew Sanders is the type of guy that doesn't fit what the Steelers are looking for, because you sign in Landon Roberts, you sign Cole Holcomb. Both of those guys are like pass-rushing, very aggressive type linebackers. You need a coverage linebacker now, and Drew Sanders kind of fits that mold of a Cole Holcomb or in a Landon Roberts, where Drew Sanders is one of the best blitzing linebackers in this year's draft class. But, if you add him, you essentially have 3 blitzing linebackers, and none of them are particularly efficient in pass protection. So I think that Drew Sanders is not a good fit for what the Steelers are trying to do on defense moving forward. I think at the end of the day, they'll probably end up taking either Jack Campbell or Dorian Williams out of Tulane, because those guys are the best in this class and can step in right away. Number 2 on their list, Jordan Addison. Now, I know this is going to piss a lot of you guys off, and some of you are going to be jumping for joy with this one, because Jordan Addison is one of the most polarizing figures on Steelers Twitter right now, because you either really, really want him, you want to pair him back up with Kenny Pickett, or you think that the wide receiver room is good right now, you don't want him, you want to go address other needs like cornerback and offensive tackle in round 1. But in my opinion, I think Jordan Addison, although he shouldn't be that primary focus, right? The Steelers shouldn't be going into night 1 saying, we absolutely 100% have to go get Jordan Addison. If your contingency plans before him go off the board, right? If all 3 of the top offensive tackles go off the board, if the top cornerbacks are off the board, I think that it's worth a pick going and getting Jordan Addison. Personally, guys, I think this is probably the better scenario. I would wait for him to drop in the first round after taking either an offensive tackle or a cornerback in round 1, and then maybe trade back into the first round if he starts to fall. I have Jordan Addison mocked to the New York Giants right now. I think that's probably where he's going to end up. But, if he starts falling to that 23, 24 range, use that 32nd overall pick, and then maybe even the 4th round or the 4th round pick that you have if you're the Steelers, and move up and get Kenny Pickett, a weapon that he already has great chemistry with, somebody that runs great routes. I think that would be a fantastic move for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And not only do you get a premier offensive tackle or cornerback, but you get to bring back Kenny Pickett's favorite weapon from college. I think that'd be a great idea. And then finally on Steeler Nation's list of wise draft targets in round 1, Joey Porter Jr. Now, I think that, if they walked away with Joey Porter Jr., I would be okay with that. He's a good player. He still needs a little bit of refinement. He does get a bit grabby at times. I think that he's more of a press man corner, which I think that would fit with the Steelers defense to some degree. Some people think he's going to be a safety in the National Football League, but I think that he's a great fit body type wise for what Mike Tomlin really likes to do on defense. I think that he could really be molded by Patrick Peterson to be the true lockdown island type number 1 cornerback. You leave him on an island on one side of the field. I think that he has the potential to be one of those guys in the National Football League, and those guys are tough to find. There's maybe 10 of those guys in the entire league at any given time. Joey Porter Jr. has the potential, at least physically, to become that. Still has a little ways to go before he does become that, but with Patrick Peterson on the roster, the Steelers do have time to groom him into that role. So if Joey Porter Jr. ends up being the pick, I will not be unhappy whatsoever. But I think that the Steelers, it would be the best practice for Pittsburgh to wait until day 2 to address the cornerback position. And the reason for that is because you can find incredible value in day 2. There's a lot of guys that are going to be going on day 2 at the cornerback position this year that would be normally late first round draft picks. Guys like Cam Smith, Tyreek Stevenson, Garrett Williams, Deonte Banks if he falls to the second round. I think that the value at the cornerback position is on day 2. So while you're in day 1, go get yourself a future left tackle. Maybe draft Jordan Addison. Address one of the other needs, because you're going to be able to find a damn good corner on day 2. Now, if all of these other options are off the table, let's say Addison's picked, all the offensive tackles that you liked are picked, then go ahead, take Deonte Banks, take Joey Porter Jr., if Devin Witherspoon falls to you, take him. Fine. And for the record, I wouldn't mind it whatsoever. I think it would be a pretty darn good pick if they got a first-round corner, because The guys going in round one are there for a reason. They're really good corners. But the value, in my opinion, at the cornerback position is on day 2. So I think moving forward in all of my mock drafts, I'm going to have a corner on or in round 2 because I think that's where the value is. But let me know in the comments section what you guys think right now. When should the Steelers draft a cornerback? Do you want to get one of the premier guys in round 1, type 1 if you think that, or do you want to go for the value pick on day 2, type 2 if you want the Steelers to go get a corner on day 2? So again, for the record, not having a single offensive tackle prospect in the top 3 is just straight up criminal. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say here to Steeler Nation, is that not having an offensive tackle prospect on a list of first-round draft targets for the Pittsburgh Steelers is not okay. You need to have at least one of those guys, one of those top 3 offensive tackles, Broderick Jones, Peter Skoronski, or Paris Johnson Jr. Just include one of them, man, because it is a huge, huge need, in my opinion, and to exclude that position from a list like this is just something that's not appropriate, and I think that the Steelers' number 1 need in the first round, to be quite frank with you, is to fill that left tackle position. That's going to do it for today's show, guys. Tomorrow, Steelers Talk Live if we get to 50 subscribers. Today, if you want a shout out on Steelers Talk Live, you got to go follow me on Twitter at Jack_Sperry. It'll be right at the top of the show. And I want to give a special shout out. We said yesterday that if somebody broke the all-time comments record on a single video, we'd be giving a special shout out. So here is a special shout out to Jalen Bush, who broke the all-time comments record yesterday with 125 comments on one video. Really appreciate you being a real one to the show here, Jalen. I really appreciate you, my guy. That's going to do it for today's show. Go ahead and subscribe. Again, we got to get to that 50 subscriber number in order to have that Steelers Talk Live show. It's going to be a great show, guys. I trust in you. I believe in you. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.